Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel, brought to you by www.pt-4-u.co.uk. We are now part of the 90 minutes football network. Told you to shut up, so shut up. Deka, say the words that everybody has been waiting to hear for 18 months.
Not 14 years. Do it, Deka.
He's gone, you know.
Yeah!
Get in!
He's gone, yeah, nah. He's gone, yeah, nah. He's gone, yeah. Ashley's fucking gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now Mike Ashley free. We are now owned by Public Investment Fund, Amanda Staveley, the Rueben brothers.
Rubens.
Mike Ashley has gone. He's gone. So it's Always Smiling Faces podcast. Mark's here, Deka's here, Roger's here tonight. Matty's in the background. Here. Matty's current girlfriend.
Matty's current girlfriend.
Current girlfriend is in the background.
Producer.
I want to say first of all, before we start going with this one, because there's no plan.
Apologise first.
I want to say thank you to the 300 people that was waiting when we went live there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the money that's been donated already. You're the reason we're
the money that's been donated. Can we like get some, what's it called, Uber to deliver us some more cans? Because I haven't got enough.
No, we've got plenty of cans here. Right, so I'm going to start, Mark. I'm going to come to you. Okay.
Oh, please don't.
Mark has had a few drinks. We've all had a few drinks tonight. We've
all had a drink.
Mark, tell them where we were when the news broke.
It couldn't be more iconic, could it? So obviously we were here earlier this afternoon, and we decided to start walking across to the town to head over to St James Park for the big announcement. And Kris and I were halfway across the Tyne Bridge as the news broke that the funds had been transferred. So you honestly, you couldn't be in a more iconic place.
It was more than the funds being transferred. We were on the Tyne Bridge when the statement was released by Newcastle United.
We're at the start of the bridge when the funds were transferred. It took me that long to get across to the other side because we were fucking dancing and singing, cracking open cans, that by the time there, like, we'd already won the league by we'd got to the Newcastle side of the Tyne Bridge.
It's lads. I know. I know we'd say that we don't normally have any organisation of the podcast, but there's normally some sort of plan. But tonight
it's freestyle, isn't it?
It's literally a spontaneous
absolute freestyle
thing right now, and we are literally going to talk about anything that you want to discuss. So any comments that you want to throw our way, we'll do it. We'll go through everything. Deka, we're here till Sunday afternoon. I'm going to tell you now, this probably won't go out as an audio because it'll be all over the shop. But Deka, how many wanks have you had today?
He's thinking about it.
Actually,
he's trying to count.
Deka,
he's trying to count.
Before you answer that question, remember when me and you were sat here earlier, and you went to search for something.
3 by then.
Well, you went to search for something on Google.
Oh God!
Right? Was it Pornhub?
So Deka went to search for something on Google. Completely, I think it was Newcastle United based.
What?
But Deka, tell them what you searched for.
FUQ,
which is a porn site.
Honestly, I was sitting here and I was like, I want some tickets. I'm going to get some tickets. I think for Sunday or something like that.
FUQ.
And I literally ordered my phone and I went what am I doing? Like, why on earth did I go to that? But I was just in that time when I was.
An F and a U and a Q.
So Deka turned his phone around and just look at these categories.
Look at all
these categories
bastards.
that we can look at.
Oh, there were some good categories.
Filthy. Filth.
.com.
I'll tell you what it hasn't got. A hyphen.
No, it hasn't.
It hasn't got a hyphen.
No, it hasn't.
Hyphen. Like PT-4U with the hyphens.
But boys, right.
What you'll probably notice is I haven't been on the drink compared to him, basically. You're all right, you're fine. But no one's quite as pissed as Mark.
We've been on the drink since the middle of this afternoon.
Well, Kris doesn't not like yours, but you do. But you're fine. You're fine. You're great.
He's being professional.
Couldn't care less. Honestly, I've waited so long for this moment.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
Does it feel real to you though? Genuinely, does it feel?
It's just Matty's diving in from the background, isn't he? it's honestly like walking across to the town earlier. I was like, I felt sick. I felt anxious, and it's like this really, because things like this do not happen to our club.
No.
This doesn't happen.
Never.
Like you can't. In my lifetime, because I'm very old.
Well, no.
How old are
It's
you?
42.
Are you 42? Are you?
42. I had my birthday not long ago.
Oh, happy birthday! By the
Once
way.
a year that happens.
Once a year, I had my birthday. This doesn't happen often,
Birthdays.
and it's like birthdays or massive takeovers.
Takeaways.
And honestly, like this is
You've
like
had more birthdays and takeovers. haven't
so
you?
surreal. Of course, I've had more bloody birthdays than takeovers. I was too young to remember the last, like, not obviously not the last one, when this dickhead taken over, but
And what was your
when
thoughts when
Hall
that
and
happened?
Shepard and
And what
stuff
was your
came
thoughts when
in,
that happened?
I've got no idea.
You can't
Cannot remember it.
You were young then.
I was just I think it was like, what, 10, 11, something like that.
Mike actually took
No,
over.
no, when
Oh.
Ashley took over.
Because it was only 14
Obviously,
years ago.
Shepard and Hall.
Right, well, hang on.
What?
We'll go back, right? What Deka was asking was...
You're gonna have to spell things out
Yeah.
very clearly
that's
for
what I'm
me
trying to do,
tonight.
No ambiguity.
You see-
no ambiguity.
You see this notebook that you've got here? Can
That's
you
just-
write down
Do you know what it is?
questions
Like,
for us?
This notebook that we've got, right? Like, people think, oh, it's like full of like stats and statistics
Stats.
and tactics. It literally just
Why
says,
would
you
they
probably
think
won't
that?
see it.
Why
It just
would they
says
think that?
the
He's-
front, but just
he's
says
gone,
he's
yeah.
gone, you know. That's all that
gone,
it says. Just so Deka didn't
Well, to
forget.
be fair, on one page it's got Mark's tactics for the next game, and fucking hell. It's just-
Ryan Fraser's
Ryan
all over
Fraser.
that page.
Right, so Deka, you asked the question, Mark. So I'll ask the question to you because Mark, I don't know what he started doing. I'll ask the question to you. Feelings when Mike Ashley first took over. Were you optimistic? Because at the time, Mike Ashley said that he was going to win titles and have fun.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I really was, and because I thought I also trusted in Sir John Hall to pass it on to the right person.
right hands.
And then when you were reading about him, and you remember that magazine that used to be out? I think it was called United or something.
Let's go United, mate.
Was
Had
it
a
United?
United.
That was the club, yeah. It was the club
yeah,
one.
Mike
We've got-
Ashley
we've
was
got
on the
a few of
front.
them here somewhere.
Mike Ashley was on the front with the shirt got relegated
Yeah.
with the football.
So we
in
had
front of
Shape
him.
magazine as well, I think, if I remember right. But anyway, I remember reading that, like thinking, I know I'm really sad.
What's
later,
your
but-
favourite type of shape of magazine?
Well,
A
like an
rectangular?
A4, like
Yeah.
a normal size.
Square or rectangle?
This wasn't. It was like half of that was weird shape, if I remember right. But anyway,
Octagon.
Half a rectangle.
Imagine an
Well,
octagon
it was like-
magazine.
it wasn't even like that. It was like that. It was almost like that.
like a flip chart.
No, it opened that way, but it was.
Portrait. No, that's landscape.
It
That's
went that way, so it's like
I'm
that.
well aware what that is. mate.
landscape.
Right, we're going
a
on.
landscape
Carry on.
magazine.
I was actually quite optimistic, and I thought he said all the right things as every owner when they first come in does.
Mm.
Obviously, we were completely wrong on that.
In every
In
way.
every way,
shape,
yeah,
form.
exactly.
In hindsight, it didn't go to plan, did it?
And like that still, I'm gonna be honest, and I don't want to shit on anybody's party, like, but as much as I'm really excited and happy and overjoyed, I still feel burnt slightly from feeling exactly the same way as I did when he came in. So, but anyway, move on from that one.
But it was like a perfect. It looked like a
Yeah,
perfect marriage. because
absolutely right,
He has a sports mogul.
Yeah.
Who's like, I've never used the word mogul before.
Can we just take a second? Can we just take a second?
It was a sportswear mogul,
Mughal.
and like he was taking over a football team,
Yeah.
like perfect. And
Even though he
like,
was a Spurs fan.
That doesn't matter.
Alleged. It doesn't matter who the
That's
support was. Like
He was.
fucking Mohammed bin Salman isn't a Newcastle United fan.
Of course he is, man. He loves the
Have you not
tune.
seen the pictures?
Have you not seen? He's got Keegan Beardsley, Shearer on his bedroom wall.
He had
I
one
hated
Park
Paul
on the-
Kitson, me. Absolutely
Why?
hated him. I
Right,
hated
we're going
him.
off. We're going off. Get back to the table.
Why did you hate Paul Kitson?
Get
I
back to the table.
didn't like him at all.
Forget your
Disdain. I
forget your
didn't like
thing
him at
with
all.
Paul Kitson. Right, we'll bring it back on track. Right, Roger.
Yep.
You're the same age as Mark. Maybe a little bit younger.
3
He's
years.
got a year or two on
Yeah.
us.
So
Bestie's obviously older than
Will
all
you
of us.
just shut up for a second. Fuck me. Growing up as a Newcastle United fan,
Yeah.
obviously with being through the rounds of ownerships, this will be is it third or fourth with you, since you were born?
Since I was born, but since I was consciously, I think I had McKeague,
Four.
and then they sold to John Hall,
Mm-hmm.
and like that was a seismic move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So to a local
Yeah,
millionaire,
to a
basically.
local millionaire.
The Mike Ashley came
Then
from
Mike Ashley
nowhere.
just came out of absolute left field, and like I said before, you thought, right, yeah, we're gone, because I think this was before Man City being taken over. And we were like,
definitely.
shit, this is happening. And then basically everything just plateaued and went to shit. Like,
so obviously the rumours at the time were Mike actually had a meeting with the Abu Dhabi representatives that went on to buy Manchester City. He didn't turn up. Didn't turn up because he was pissed. No, he didn't turn up because he was pissed. But now,
yeah, but he also missed.
No, he turned up and abused them. Apparently, didn't he?
Well,
abused them.
That's the story.
He was like in the hotel room and he was just like wrecking the place and like
just a bit
spewing up in the fireplace and taking his shirt
bit of a
off.
dick.
Bit like me, though, right?
But now to go back to what's happening right now, you look at Manchester City, and we've been outside St James's Park tonight, and I swear to God,
good was it, man?
Me and Mark got there, and there was probably around about 100, 200 people there. You'll see from the photos from the GallowgateShots account earlier on.
Can't stop laughing.
But like, you look at the photos later on in the night.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Thousands outside St James's
Absolutely
Park,
ridiculous.
and it just shows what it means to the fan base. And there's been so many people doing interviews today across the likes of the news media. You've had Radio 1, you've had BBC, you've had Sky Sport, you've had 5 Live, you've had them all, and every single fan that's been on there, apart from one, has represented the fans pretty well, to be fair. And everyone's came across and made it about the club, the fan base, and what this can do for this football club. And Deka, I'll come to you. Nobody's expecting us to go and win the league in the next 2, 3, 4 years. We are just expecting
4, like.
5.
Why not?
Champions League in 5. But we are now expecting just to be proud of this football club.
Well, I spoke about it a little bit today. I think for me, first of all, everyone, there's been some daft things obviously on Twitter about who you could sign. I was speaking to someone today who said, bring in Haaland, for Christ's sake. I mean, like, this is the type of conversations I'm having. However,
it's October.
I'm going to wait.
Yeah, we've got to wait until January.
My thoughts are, the number one thing that stands out to me is getting rid of Sports Direct. That's the first thing in my mind when I think of the ground. And going into the ground, there's no Sports Direct.
But just to interrupt you, Deka, like, you're saying...
Amanda's calling.
No, I'm interrupting, not you. So the first thing...
Well, there is one before that, actually. But sorry.
We're talking about now, and as a fan base, we get criticised so much from the global media. And everyone's saying Newcastle fans demand too much from their football team. The only thing that Deka's wanting right now is for Sports Direct to be removed from the football club.
I swear, and I'm not just saying it.
Better soft furnishings. That's all we need at the moment.
Like,
you know what I mean? Yeah, bigger tellies.
Better advertisement in the ground.
If getting rid of that is just an unbelievable feeling.
Get rid of the dead pigeon.
No, you keep the dead pigeon.
No, he was there.
You've got to keep the dead pigeon.
He was there at the start.
You cannot get rid of the Gallowgate pigeon.
Right, back to you, Deka.
Also, the thought of going into a transfer window, not thinking, oh, well, who could we possibly get on loan?
Yeah.
Or, oh, it's going to be another shit one. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm expecting to be getting players for 30, 40, 50. That's not it. What I am thinking, though, is we might go into the January window and be able to do something. Yeah. That's what is... I've never known that. We've never known that.
We've never known opportunity.
Nah.
Like,
and that's what's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just... Do you know what it is? I'll come back to you, Mark. Is that we will now go into a transfer window, not worry we're going to be able to get a loan player.
And that's it. It's like, it's not... Like, for me, like, as like we spoke tonight about it, for me, it's not about the money. It's about the actual... It means that we can actually compete. We can try to show some ambition.
It's dedication.
So, like, you can go in there and, like you say, you don't have to worry about, right, or can we bring bloody Chowdhury in on loan from Leicester? We can look beyond that and think, right, we've got money to spend now. We can go and buy players. Then, obviously, in January, it's very difficult to bring in, you know, umpteen players. You've got to go within your
when
means
you're mega rich. It's not.
Yeah, but you've still got to go along the financial fair play. Obviously, Man City don't look at that model, but we're still going to be in a situation where we've got to be sensible with what we spend. The important thing that'll happen between now and then for me is what happens in that management hot seat.
Yeah,
is what do we do there? Because Bruce has got to go. You know, as much as I think he'll adapt to the situation.
Oh, no, we're not adapting. We're not adapting.
I'm joking. You know, he's honestly, That is the first
That's
thing.
gonna
Is
bite you on the arse, hasn't it?
he's got to go.
Did you watch it when you got home?
I
Have
didn't
you-
watch it
have
when
you
I got
watched
home.
it
I
back?
watched it the next day.
Have you watched it back? Because you sound
was-
like a fucking dickhead.
It was
I'm not
fucking.
gonna lie.
It was bad, like.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was absolutely
Pretty bad.
beautiful
You sound
because
like a dickhead at
he
points.
was fucking raging.
Mate,
Yeah,
at
you were
points,
like-
though.
Absolutely
At points,
raging.
and I'll be brutally honest, like I always am with you and anybody else on this channel, mate. You were trying to say that Steve Bruce and the coaching staff could make us better when saying
I
Max
didn't
was
say
there.
they would
You
make
did.
us better. I didn't
did.
say, no, I absolutely did not
You
say they
said
would
that.
make us better. I said we would adapt to the situation that we had and use the players that we had.
Right.
Now we don't even need to worry about that
Exactly. We're doing
because
we're
Steve
doing.
Steve is already on holiday in Portugal.
Well,
He's gone to his little
he's
villa,
not.
and now we're waiting on the
new.
new man coming in,
Oh, no.
and that's
No,
that's
carry
the
on.
big one for me. Get a new manager in, new coach and stuff, because we can't change the playing staff. We're stuck with that until January. So the only thing that we can do is change who oversees it.
Exactly.
So that's the next big thing for me.
Roger, I'll come to you. Amanda Staveley came out tonight on Sky Sports, I think it was, and said that she had a meeting at tea time with Steve Bruce and Jamal Lascelles.
You wouldn't pick the meeting at tea time, so you wouldn't be focused on what you were saying.
Afternoon
Tea, you
afternoon
know what I
tea.
mean? He's like,
What do you?
he's like, what, Amanda? What? What?
What do you think he had for tea?
Got a bread special.
Bacon in it. He's got to be bacon any time of the day.
Just-
Maybe like
that's
maybe
all
like
he
a
eats.
bacon like carbonara type
So-
situation going on.
Oh, nice.
Do you think that meeting with the current manager and obviously current captain, do you think that was just a formality?
Don't leave us hanging.
I think it would be more of a courtesy. Like it would be the courteous thing to do. And I think it would be inevitable that they would have a conversation based around
What next?
what's happening next. Like Bruce isn't, although he's an arrogant dick.
No. He's just a fan.
I think
He's
he would
just a
be-
fan.
I think he would be aware of the
To
game.
interrupt you, I love it how you get. Although he's arrogant now, I thought you were going to say something
Individual.
that wasn't going to be dick,
Yeah.
but you went with it. And
No,
I
but
agree.
He's just a local lad, that's a fan.
He's been in the game long enough, and he's seen takeovers before. He knows how it works, and he'll know that he's sitting on £3 million, and he's just waiting for them to
Well, we all know how long that 3-year
You know?
rolling year contract is, don't we?
So like, I think the fact that he won't be the manager in the long term, or probably medium term.
Do you think before the national break's over? Do you think? Or
I think it all depends on PIFs or PCOP or whatever they're called. Their
Peacock? Peacock?
What was it? PCP, that's it.
Peacock, did you call
Their
it?
level
PCP,
of,
they
like,
own
their level
bloody
of preparation.
Derby.
Like, what have they done? Like, do they already have a manager in help them navigate towards the end of the season? Are they going to appoint somebody in the short term and then in the summer look at your Contes or your
Conte's unemployed. Get him in now.
for me,
No, but the thing that I was thinking about this with Conte or a manager of that ilk, they're not used to working with your Isaac Haydens and these players.
Do not disrespect Isaac Hayden on this
friend of the
podcast.
who's been
He's a good player, but like
he's been DMing us tonight, mate. We will not have a
Antonio
bad word.
Conte is like he's used to working with these he was at Inter Milan, he's working with Lukaku and all these players who have
I've never heard of half of these teams.
no disrespect to Isaac Hayden. I
hope
think
not.
He's a great player, but like
Very
to
flexible.
Come into our team, you're gonna need somebody who knows that level of player because we don't.
So what you're saying is you want Sam Allardyce
we
to
are-
come in?
We are 19th in the league. Our players are not elite players, and Conte is an elite level manager, or he's up there. So, like, I think you would have to. I think we need somebody who's got knowledge of the league, who's got knowledge of our players and how to get the best out of our players. So, somebody like, Eddie Howe or someone like that.
I'm not having that. Like,
I think would be a better fit at the moment.
I'm going to interrupt you, but I just want to say a massive thank you to Jason Hobby.
Oh, Jason's not at it again, is he?
He's donated £50.
Jason, man.
50 quid.
Jason.
£50.
Jason, are you related to the Saudi royal family?
Put the cans away, Jason, please.
Absolute legend.
Jason,
Jason,
you
man.
absolute legend.
Thank you,
Can
Jason.
somebody order 5 garlic bread specials immediately?
You don't, Jason, you don't realize how much that means to what
that
we
means
can
a
do
lot.
in the future for the likes of the donations.
Jesus Christ.
You, mate.
Jason, man.
Thank you, mate. And it's not the only one he's donated tonight. There's been others as well.
He's a lunatic. He's an absolute
He's a
lunatic.
legend, not a lunatic. A legend.
But who would you?
Legend. Yeah. So that's my next question. I'll come to you, Deka.
Yeah.
Deka.
Can I answer that one?
No. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Oh, what's the question? Sorry,
Well, not a
mate.
question, but I want to just say something that
About the management side.
Respond.
I was. My worry was that the people who were trying to buy wanted one man. Was Rafa, right? That was the goal,
The
and that
same
was,
people that were trying to buy.
Yeah,
The people now own the
that's
football
what I
club.
mean. And,
Yeah.
and I think that is a slight spanner in the works. I think that obviously he's not available anymore.
But you don't think that ship sailed?
Oh no! I'm what I mean. It's sealed, but what I'm saying is to them when they wanted to buy, where there was only one person that them had in mind. The perfect package was we buy them, Rafa's in charge, life's great. Obviously that didn't happen, and I'm just wondering how much have them actually sat on a table and thought, okay, Rafa's not here, who is available? My point about Conte is, and listen, I really want to be careful here because the last time I sat and we chatted about managers we could possibly get, we got Steve Bruce, and not true.
So we're sat and talked about Mourinho and Wenger,
and with Bruce the week after.
Vieira was.
So I'm scared. I'm scared to go down that route. However, I'll do it once. If it was Conte, my thought process here is could he get an extra 10% or even whatever out of the players to see you till January, and then he could buy. He's not going to buy, world class players, but better players. Do you know what I mean? With what we've got, and then can you sell him the project of what the next 5 years or? That's what I think.
That's why it's key for me.
So we're going now, obviously with new ownership. Obviously, the new ownership. I tell you till I go blue in the face that they do not want Steve Bruce as manager. He'll be gone in the next few days. You would expect easily.
I think I would imagine. I would imagine he's already been told that Steve. Thanks for the memories. You're now surplus to requirements. Go and enjoy yourself in Portugal. Have a nice fortnight over there in your villa. It's tight.
At the end of the day, we'll have to remember that Steve Bruce is going to get a massive payout at the end of this. He's going to probably come out with
because of his 3-year rolling contract.
That is why he's going to get a couple of million quid out of this. But realistically, now, Mark, which manager do you bring? Because obviously, previously, as Mike Ashley ownership, we said anyhow, Chris Wilder.
Yeah.
What now? Because those sort of managers
well, that's it. I mean,
are not the type of manager that are gonna.
Chris Wilder was.
You know what it is like before. Obviously, before this has happened, Chris Wilder would have been my choice. Yeah, because of
they might keep us up in the league, but that's not what the plan is now.
No,
the plan is yes to keep us up in the league. Then now see what happens afterwards.
And that's it. Like now, it just expands your horizons, doesn't it? You don't have to look at who can you bring in that's not going to want too much money to come to the club. They're going to have nothing to spend. They're going to come in there and just work with the players that we've got. Which let's face it, every manager is going to have to do that because we can't do anything until January other than the free transfer market. So, but it now just it expands it to look at who's available, who could you get in. And that's why we look at managers like Conte, who is a top level manager.
Zidane.
He's unemployed. Zidane is unemployed. For me, he has one for the naming rights. The ex-Borussia Dortmund manager, Lucien Favre. He's for me that he would be my choice. He would be my choice because of. Just because the way to come in now, just because of the way that he sets teams up, the way that he likes to play, and because he likes to play a nice expansive game, he likes to pass the ball, he likes to play on the front foot, he likes to attack.
Do we have the
We've got Ryan Fraser sitting on the bench, ready.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. Like we don't have the players to play this.
We have. We know.
I think
that what we can do is
possibly do, but I don't think we'll have defensively. I don't think we'll have players to be able to play.
Yeah, but that's the situation that we're in now. Is that Bruce's plan, as we know, is just to get that ball to Saint and bomb on forward. He'll do that with a little bit more eloquence. He'll look to pass the ball and move it around and stuff like that. Like that, eloquence.
Is he going to talk?
Eloquence. And get in there. And yes, he likes to attack, but he'll at least set the team up well.
Yeah.
He'll play players in the right, right positions. We'll adapt the formation and stuff like that. So,
there's that word again.
but adapt. That is the key, because we are stuck with the squad that we've got. So all we can do is use the players that are there, put them in the right positions, put them in places where they like to play, where they can do damage, and go from there.
So you're talking about a manager who plays players in the right positions, chiefly.
Yeah. I mean, that's a massive step forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
We haven't had that for the last bloody God knows how long.
The problem that we have, and I'll come to you, Deka, once again, is that the current situation where we're on the league, are you going to attract that sort of manager? Because it's so new, it is. We're not used to this. It's so new, and those sort of caliber managers go to a club that's already up there, not somebody that's at the bottom trying to get further in the league. That's the worrying thing for me, Deka.
I do agree. I think you're kind of hoping money's going to do the talking on that one. I'm not sure bonuses or heavy salary to start with, but I do agree. You know, you to sit with someone like Conte or whoever who's won the Premier League, for Christ's sake, and you know, and did well other places, and then you all of a sudden saying come to us who were 19s in the Premier League. But I still believe a manager, if they're paid enough but understand they're going to get the correct backing and the right backing, they'll come.
I think if you go back to when Keegan did come to Newcastle, like, he was a world-renowned superstar.
Yeah.
And
not as a manager, though.
True, that is.
But we were languishing.
Oh, we were terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, the bottom of the first division, looking to get relegated. And I think because John Hall at the time had the persona, he had the ambition, and I think that's what people buy into. Yes, obviously you want a big, healthy pay at the end of the day, but like, you know, your Brendan Rodgers or those sort of managers, they look for ambition.
Yeah, of course.
We've had a series of unambitious managers, and now because we had an unambitious club, now we've got an ambitious club.
Yep.
Now, if you're a young German manager or a young Spanish manager who's up and coming, maybe he's an international manager currently, and you think, Newcastle have got all this money behind them, they've got a massive fan base, they've got a huge stadium, we've got Isaac Hayden in centre midfield,
or centre of defence,
or right back, or whatever.
Flexible.
So I think it's a bit of a, not a red herring, but I think it's a bit of a. I think people would buy into.
Yeah,
they would they'd be tempted, because managers are tempted by. Fucking hell, this is all right.
Imagine him looking at that as a challenge.
Well, I was going to say Rafa came and we had Mike Ashley in charge at the time.
Exactly.
We're in the relegation zone then.
Exactly.
So if Rafa's seen something,
you need somebody with vision.
Yeah. So if a manager of the caliber of Rafa came when it was as bad as it was, then what caliber manager would be willing to come now? So I've kind of answered your own question and how I feel about that actually, but Rafa came to my mind. But it's looking at somebody that thinks, they're not just looking at that right. We're sitting down at the bottom of the league. You're looking at what could this club achieve? Yeah.
And be able to see beyond it.
As we've already said, Rafa knew that, but you looking in from the outside now with the investment that we could potentially have, because look, it hasn't happened yet, but what we're capable of now doing, we all know what the fan base can do. We all know that we've got a big stadium there. We all know how passionate the fans can be. You've only got to look at tonight to see what it means to the fans to there. So if you're looking at that from the outside as a manager without any real knowledge of Newcastle and understanding that, you've got to look at that and think that is something potentially that could be very, very special.
Well, I've said this for years about us, is that a manager, any person, any player should look at us and think, God, I could literally go down in history. Because we've won nothing, right? And this is an opportunity that you could have a statue there. Your name would be sang forever if you do well here. That's one of my biggest criticism, Ashley, is that he could have done the same.
Yeah.
And we weren't asking for loads,
that was
just a little bit. And same kind of argument there, really.
Always the same frustration with Mike Ashley. we didn't. I think he never understood what we wanted.
Yeah.
He came with the idea. I'm on a piss up. I bought a club. Let's get in the away and let's have a bit. But commercially, he could have built us in different ways. He could have, said, right, I'm not going to invest loads in this team, but I'm going to invest loads in this, the infrastructure. This is what I'm going to do. But he
could have
time.
The problem with Mike Ashley is the fact that he always wanted his businesses to be there as advertisement. So he always wanted Sports Direct to be there. Cruz was there at one point. Flannels is now there.
Yeah.
Every single one has been there. And that wasn't the problem with Mike Ashley. But now, because he's gone, and because the obviously PIF, and I keep saying PIF, but it's more than just PIF.
Yeah.
You've got
it's the Ruebens,
Amanda Staveley.
10%.
The Ruebens got 10%. So commercially now as a football club, this goes through the roof. And we were talking about this earlier on the previous audio podcast that we did, that you look at likes of what Man United have done with the likes of training ground sponsors and the training shirts and stuff like that.
We've got an official noodle supplier as well,
It's a case now where Newcastle United
is a pot noodle.
No, it's a Nissan or whatever.
Well, Newcastle United is a football
Nissan
club now.
Does Nissan make pot noodles?
No, Nissan.
He's done. So Newcastle United now, as a football club, they have to start looking at revenues where we can look at bringing in money to basically say we're spending this money on players because we've got this income coming in. And that's what it is.
But in Mike Ashley's defence, shock horror, looking at
had on.
I saw before, he's actually left in quite a good financially. We made a profit of 38 million, so we're in a fairly favourable position after everything. After the dust has settled, we're not in debt. They're not a group buying somebody who's in loads of debt and they've got. All really they've got to fix is the fascias at the minute.
It's a shame he didn't do that due diligence when he took over, isn't it?
Interrupt you, so I'm hoping, but you all just stay quiet for a little bit. I do apologize
for 1 minute.
You won't be able to hear this, but we've got a special guest. I do apologize. You'll hear this afterwards, so don't interrupt because he probably can only hear me.
Oh, it's not Isaac.
In fact,
I'm sorry, Isaac.
You'll probably hear all of it, but I'll only be able to hear what he's saying. So don't jump in.
That's why we need to connect it to the TV over there.
Doesn't matter. Just shut your mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Ryan Taylor.
Over the wall. Missed that over
boys.
Ryan, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I've seen you at the stadium before. How many cans have you had?
Too many, mate. Too many. Not as many as Mark that sat over there, but too many, mate. I just want to. I know we don't have things set up for you, Ryan, to go through, and you're just jumping in for the next 5 minutes. As an ex-player, and what you've seen for this football club and the fans itself, what does this mean for you? Are you as excited as what we are?
I just know, obviously, what yous are going through, and I know how much it means. I mean, I'm obviously brought up as a Liverpool fan, but when I was at the club for that long, I got the connection. I got it straight away. So for me, I know exactly what yous are going through, and what yous have been wanting for so long. So that's why I'm delighted, because I know how much it means. And if I obviously lived closer, I'd have been at the stadium myself today just to soak it all in, because
I can give you a lift, Ryan, if you want.
It's a few
Get
miles.
on the cans.
But for me, on a personal note, I just know what it means for the fans of the football club to actually get their football club back, and hopefully now it's in good hands, because we don't know obviously what these new owners, who they are, but we know that.
So we don't know what the future holds.
No,
of course we don't.
Yeah, but we know. Everyone knows what has gone, and it was never positive. So, it can only get better. That's for sure.
Mate, I think you've hit the nail on the head there with everything that you said, and you probably speak for a lot of ex-Newcastle United players, because, like I said earlier, you've lived in this moment, being a Newcastle United fan, and realise as a football club we can achieve a hell of a lot more than what we have done over the last X amount of decades. And you look at the team that was around you at the time as well. You had the likes of Demabor, CC, hadn't been offered some world-class players. Do you think now that Newcastle United might go forward and actually win something?
It's actually scary to think that, isn't it? Because you could never see these days coming. Especially when we all thought the takeover was done. But now that it's happened, it's like, oi there, we could actually see a Newcastle United captain actually lift a trophy, which we would just never have thought, would we? But yeah, I can see the good days coming. I can see finals. You can vision it all now. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. We know that. Everyone's not daft, but within 3 to 5 years, can you imagine where the club's going to be? It's going to be scary, and it is just basically like playing Football Manager and doing what you want.
That's what we're hoping for, to be fair. Just end on this one. The last question for you, Ryan, before you go to shoot off, is what will the current players be thinking right now? Because obviously you're going from a secure job, basically, at Newcastle United. For some of these players, which are average players, I hate to say it, but average players, are they going to be worried?
Of course they are, yeah. I mean, I think any player, I think the only one really who shouldn't be worried is
Ryan Fraser.
Is Saint Maximin, because he's loved. But I feel like everyone else should be worried because they've not performed. At least when he plays, he shows passion. He wants the ball. I'm not saying no one else shows passion, obviously, but he's just got something that gets people off the seats, And like you said, then to Newcastle fans, there's a lot of players who've just not been pulling the weight. You call them average, but in realistic terms, they're obviously good footballers. But now you can go and push on. They will look like average players in comparison to what can come through the door. So if I was there myself, I'd be really worried because you don't know where your future is, because you don't know what's going to walk in the door from one transfer window to the next. So yeah, because if they are true to the word, the money could be silly what gets thrown about to bring top quality and to bring trophies to the football club. Yeah,
it's just a strange feeling. I don't know how to put it in words right now.
So
it's crazy as a football fan, that as a Newcastle United fan, that we are on the brink of actually being rich. And not just rich, the fact that we might actually spend that money.
Filthy rich.
Fuck you, money rich.
I know. It's scary, isn't it? Because I for one was just like yourself. I thought it was dead. I thought the takeover was done. It wasn't going to happen. Another one bites the dust, if you like. And then, I don't know what it's been like up there, but for the last few weeks, it's been so quiet watching anything on the telly. And it was only sort of yesterday in the day, it kicked off, and I'm like, not again. And then all of a sudden, it's happening, and you're like, oh my God, that's gone so quick. The way it's just come out the blue again, and then it's done. You're like, oh wow, they've actually seen the back of Mike Ashley. It's like, for so long, you have been obviously trying to get him out. And then he'll do something good, and then you think, maybe spend the money, but then he just does something else. You're like, oh my God, get him out the football club. So for Newcastle fans now to see the back of Mike, it's what the club's needed for a long time.
Ryan, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us tonight.
It's all right, mate.
Pretty sure
on me.
We'll
have more than one can. Don't worry about it.
A lot more, mate. We'll catch up with you very soon. We've still got to do with free kick challenge, where you've got to teach us how to take free kicks.
Yeah, listen, anytime.
Hey, we're filthy rich now. We don't need Ryan Taylor. We can get bloody Neymar, Messi, the lots.
Ryan will always come back.
We'll always have Ryan. Honestly,
Yeah.
he was saying that he was worried about, if he was a player now, but I can guarantee if I was the owner, Ryan Taylor would be staying. He'd be on my staff. He'd be there.
I'll tell you where I will be. I'm on that desk in front of you, and I'm not moving from there. I'll tell you that.
Ryan, I think you're actually on the desk twice.
Yeah. You'll always have a home on our desk. Always.
Yeah, you're on there twice, mate. Thank you very much, mate. I love you.
Listen, lads, enjoy.
Not as much as Matty does.
I'm really pleased.
Matty's standing here like a lost girlfriend.
Right. Thank you, mate. Love you.
Listen, take care, boys, and I'll see you soon.
Cheers, Ryan.
Cheers.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan Taylor over the wall. Ryan Taylor over the wall. Ryan Taylor. What a legend. Absolute legend.
You don't get that on another.
He's a
Newcastle
legend.
United.
He's an absolute
that was
legend.
your pillow voice, wasn't it?
You don't get
That
that.
was your pillow, wasn't it?
Good voice, isn't it?
Did you see? Did you see how
serious
serious he went there
he
as
was
well?
like,
Hi there,
Because you're going to put up with
Ryan.
bellends like you. That's why.
yeah.
That is why. Do you know what? When I
Lush.
said lads, when he does
Absolute
not
lush.
say anything, he just fucking kept on saying things.
It's Ryan Taylor.
Yeah,
Ryan
but
Taylor?
Ryan Taylor's talking, and you fucking interrupt him.
We weren't interrupting him at all.
Twice.
That
But
man sat in the back of my Seat Ibiza. You know what I
did.
mean?
He did.
Aye.
Roger gave him a
You know what I mean?
lift.
I gave him a lift from
They're
Sheffield.
practically
United.
best friends.
We're practically, we're practically best mates.
But once again, you don't get this on any other Newcastle United.
yes, this
YouTube
type of
channel.
insight.
None of this. This is why we're number one. Become a member. Donate some money.
Oh,
Live the
Get
dream.
amongst it.
Live the
Smoothly.
dream.
smoothly.
Right, boys. I don't even know where to go from there, but it speaks volumes that he's came out there and said if he was there right now and the takeover goes through, that he's worried as a footballer.
But as a player there, though, I think this is where you see what type of players we've actually got. Because it's like if you're in any business and you get taken over or you're in any place of work, you're like, you either step up and
Step up or ship out,
you know,
isn't it?
because we have got players with potential and we have got players who are underperforming. And this is your time to say you either go, it shows your attitude, whether you sack it off and you go, oh, well, I'm not going to be here for much longer. Or you go like, this is a massive opportunity. All of those players, every single one of them should see this as a massive opportunity. Like someone like Matty Longstaff, who's off on loan, he should be like, yes, right, lift off. Yeah, we're going. I'm going to get better coaching. I'm going to get better opportunities. You know, I'm going to be playing around better players. I'm going to train around better players. This, like, all of them, the city, the players should all look at it as a huge opportunity. And if they don't, peddling.
And that's the key thing. I mean, us as fans, we can look at it today and tonight and just, soak it in around what's happened. But we've now got a situation where we can move forward. We can show a bit of ambition. This is like you've just said, a huge, huge opportunity for our players to step up to the plate and show what they're capable of doing. Because like this is almost what Ryan's saying there is it's a situation where you put up or you shut up, because if you can't perform at this level, then you're gone.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah.
So you've got to do it.
As a player, Deka, as a player of this club now, you have to stop pulling your weight.
Yeah, and I think surely as a player, for their own ambition, you'd want to be a part of this, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Because in their career, they're not going to have
It's massive.
a bigger opportunity. However, there's a few. I mean, Keegan did it with Kelly, where like you have players which really do perform, but you still move on from them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I kind of think of a name now, but there'll be players there that no doubt. I mean, Sean Longstaff, for example, like he may look at this and think, Christ, my days are numbered, or he might think, actually, do you know what it is? Like I'm young enough. I've been here. I'm playing in the midfield now. I can be the one that can hang on and play with other great players.
Yeah.
However, when your manager comes in and yes, Sean Longstaff, I'm using him as an example here, but he might do really well. But in the back of the manager's mind, they're like, well, I will move him on later on. Do you know what I mean?
For the next.
That's what I mean. Do you know what I mean? So there'll be a lot of people that will leave behind, but there's a few that we do have. I mean, St. Maxim for one, Wilson another, Almiron, that you would think them will be sitting home going, this is the chance. This is the moment, So
You forgot about Jeff Hendrick there.
and of course Jeff Hendrick. Yeah. So, but
He's pub quiz answer, isn't he?
He is, isn't he? Last goal scored under Mike Ashley's regime.
and that's why I wanted to ask him that question. I just wondered, like, part of us thinks as well they'll all be buzzing themselves tonight, thinking, "Oh, amazing!" But then
we've seen it on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that.
But there will be some going like, "Oh God."
If you think of that, I mean, you know, what player will not want to be in that starting 11 against Tottenham in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah,
every single one of those players will be, because that stadium is going to be.
This is a point that I wanted to make, in what you're saying exactly there is that we'll talk about money, we'll talk about everything we've spoke about. The one thing that you can't buy is the club being united, the fans being united for the same goal, and you can't buy that, and that's the thing that hopefully we'll see now moving forward.
Do you think that the fact that obviously, you know, anybody who's on any social media platform will know that there's been a lot of disunity, a lot of aggro, but do you think that do you think Mike Ashley at the end of the day is the root cause of all of that?
Well, he is,
like, because, you know, like I was talking to our lass today and she was like, this is the first time I'm going to know you and be with you when Mike Ashley hasn't been the manager of the owner of Newcastle. And already you seem
as if that's a conversation between a couple.
Oh, it is. Are we? Yeah, you want to? Don't you talk about conversation?
I had the same conversation with my son.
I'm serious.
He's just turned 11-year-old. He's 11-year-old, and he has never known anything. He's never known anything but Ashley.
Not known me outside of the Mike Ashley era, and like she was like, "You're different today." I was like, "I am not. It's mint." I'm telling you, that is a conversation.
We've lived through the last 14 years of having Mike Ashley as the owner, of having zero ambition, of just surviving, having the target to finishing fourth bottom every season. This now gives us a little bit of hope, a little bit of bit of something to look forward to. And my kids have never known that.
I think that's a genuine conversation you would have.
You look at some of the lads and lasses that were around us at the ground tonight. They've known nothing except Mike Ashley. Like this is a massive moment for us. But some of them people have never known anything but Mike Ashley and this model.
It feels like that for me, and I've known more than this, but it's been that long.
But nobody's ever seen, like, when I first started going, Keegan had took over, and the whole the city, the feeling like it just, there was something different about it, and like nobody's ever known, you know, like you talk to your cousins or your older brothers, I went, you know, and even when Robson's a manager, a lot of these, nobody's ever seen that before or in their conscious Newcastle supporting life, and now there's this like massive thing is just opening in front of them, and I'm like, I wish I was that age now, like 16, 17, and be like,
I said to all of you tonight that the only moments that I can remember that were near enough to the feelings I had tonight was on the Friday night before we played in the FA Cup final back in the late 90s. Like in the first one, I was still in my teenage years. I think the second one, I was probably about 17, 18, something like that. And going down there, Trafalgar Square, the whole place was full of Newcastle fans. It was that party atmosphere, you know, because you had that wish inside of you that like this could happen.
Yeah,
like
Would you not say 5-0 away was the same though, right?
Oh, mate, like you know for a fact that is my moment in my life. It was fine order. I can't imagine repeating that, but now looking at this situation that we are in, that could be repeated at some point.
This is what I was said to Kris. I don't know if it was in chat or something, but like the overall goal has always been to get Ashley gone, and we've just wanted Ashley to go. And it got to a stage for me where I didn't really care who came in. I had the opinion that, well, there can't be any worse than what's already there. So, why this feels so special is this is like the end of the rainbow type of situation. In that, yes, Ashley's gone, but the people taking over are the most, arguably the most powerful that could have.
Well, they're worth more than the entire Premier League put together.
I mean, I was at a point where really, the only way I thought we're going to get taken over is if we're relegated. Mike Ashley has to sell, like a fire sale. A club, you know, a fan consortium ends up taking them up, you know, and we just drift. Like that was my that I'd accepted that was what was going to happen because the takeover was just such pie in the sky.
Yeah.
In April, we're talking 18 months ago.
Yeah.
As long as that, it's going to be going on forever, isn't it?
Like I said before, the opportunity that's just opened up in front of us, you're like, fucking strap yourselves in, lads.
Yeah.
It's happening.
It's unreal. It's come back round full circle.
It's unbelievable.
Like right now, though, Deka, it doesn't feel real.
No, honestly, and I mean that it doesn't. I was sitting with my dad when it actually sort of broke. I was with the kids, like, and anyway, it broke on Sky Sports News, and like, I celebrated, and and all the rest of it. We hugged and all the rest of it, and I still like even going up the night to go to St James's still didn't feel. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what I was expecting.
What do you think is going to be that point where you go?
I won the league. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
When we see MBS standing on the centre spot with his black wife scarf,
and I said it. I think it's the first thing I said when I was asked something. When I walk in the ground and Sports Direct's gone.
Yeah.
And that sounds ridiculous. Like, it's just colour and a font on the wall, but like, it's to me, that is huge.
For me, it'll be when the Sports Direct's gone and Kevin Keegan comes out of the tunnel and into the middle of the pitch and he's brought back to do the Geordie Jackpot or whatever it is. Whatever, like,
the Geordie Jackpot.
Bring back the Geordie Jackpot.
He's doing the half. He's doing the half-time draw. Keegan's half-time meat draw.
I feel like, Keegan, I'm an old man now, but like he had such an impact on my life. And like now, those, these mad kids who are outside St James, these young lads, they're going to have a figure like that, a Conte or somebody who they're going to be like, that was my moment. That was my, and I'm excited. I'm so excited for those people who are like about to just live through this whole and
that's why I think of my kids.
They'll have heard about what Newcastle was like. And you have to be of a certain age to be like, I know what it was like.
Definitely right. Yeah.
And now those people are at the start, they're getting that little, and they're going up and up the roller coaster, and they're about to have an absolute.
It's honestly like
whale of a time.
Teenagers do not.
They don't know
appreciate this moment because that's all they've known.
Them bloody
is Mike Ashley.
I do want to touch on just very quickly. You mentioned about Keegan.
Yeah,
I want to stand name. I want everything. Right. However, I do hope and kind of know that the legends of the football club need to be much more respected and get involved more with all sorts, and
not just the legends.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. Like,
I think you don't want it to become like an old boys club, but you want those people who have basically
made a difference.
They've been exercised, haven't they? They haven't been part of the club.
They're what that's the ground was built on. Level 7 was built on. The shoulders of these guys who pulled us up from nothing to where we are right now is unbelievable. So, totally agree.
So I'm just good at that. Bobby's not here to see it because
he'll be looking
for me. That's the as much as everybody goes on about Kevin Keegan, and yes, he did an amazing job at the start of it all, but like for Bobby to come in and he then came in and almost saw that second hump.
Yeah. Oh, it was a true second win.
He's just unbelievable. It's just sad the way that obviously it ended with him, and he hasn't been here to see it happen.
When we went to St James's tonight, this is going to sound ridiculous, but like there was loads of young'uns standing on his statue and like during the night, and I just kind of thought that was quite sort of poetic in a way.
And you know what it is? Most of them won't even have a clue about what he achieved at that club and what he stood for and because he was the man. Yeah. He was an absolute gentleman. He was a brilliant manager. He achieved so much in the game.
He was that good. Even the Mackhams couldn't really say anything bad about him. Them loved him.
He's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Rightfully emotional, actually.
Rightfully so. But that's the thing. It's almost fitting that a lot of the celebrations that happened tonight were there. Yeah, it was there in front of his statue. Almost. Obviously, he's not there to take part of it, but you've got that. Like we were standing there looking directly at it, looking at him, and there was inside of me. There was a moment when I looked at it and went, just if only he could have experienced this.
I've got a question that might change. Well, sort of.
Okay.
Go for it. Well, slightly. I feel there's a couple of things I feel about what may come our way as fans. Right, which I really don't care about. It's great. But I feel as if every goal we concede, every time we get beat, every time we sign a player, it's going to be judged differently now, massively differently.
Yeah.
I really do, by everybody.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Yeah.
The other thing is the whole negative side of the human rights stuff and all of that. I just wondered because I've never actually really spoke to you about that. Like, have you got any opinions on that?
So,
and if you do want to get into it, that's absolutely fine.
I was asked this question. We've done an interview for Radio 1 earlier today, and we were asked the same question. And as football fans, what are we supposed to do? Yes, there's concerns there, but we don't decide who owns a club. We don't decide who puts the money up to buy the club. So I think right now we have to think, what can we do? Yes, it's there in the background. Yeah. We've got to understand it's in the background. We've got to stand up for things that are wrong. But why is it always reliant on football fans to do the right thing? And it's always the case, no matter what it is. Marcus Rashford had to come out and change the government's mind in regards to feeding kids. Like, why is it always football fans and professionals that need to do that? Why is it not the government and those powers that should be the ones stepping up?
I totally agree. I think the other thing for me is when I remember, back in the day when all this first started, like, we're going to get taken over. And it was Delaney, I believe, maybe?
Miguel,
whatever.
Yeah.
I remember the thing that I noticed at the time.
Disney Mickey Mouse hat on his head.
Well, this is what I'm going to get at. So what I noticed was that I'm sure I felt as if what had just been the takeover was going to happen or come close, and then he started kicking off, and then almost overnight, Joshua was going to fight for the title over in Saudi. I was like, well, no one's complaining here. Yeah. I know Disney got about $500 million from them to reinvest, and I feel as if like they've got so many fingers in so many sporting and entertainment pies.
Yeah.
And all I want us to get the fist. Like that's I mean. Like I want it all. Like, do you know what I mean? Give us all the money.
Yeah, I think for me, like obviously, on a human level, you're like, there obviously is clear things around Saudi Arabia and the way that the culture is run and the way the country is run. I think it's up to us as individuals to understand that a bit more, understand it a bit better, because a lot of us, including myself, would be a bit ignorant to it or naive about it. Yeah.
It's always a case when you're not involved directly in that.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, Amanda Staveley was asked about it in her interview, and she gave an answer around the lines of that PCP are like a private equity fund that have interests in many different areas and are funded or supported by PIF, by the Rueben, but by lots of different entities. And I think, yes, we have a responsibility to be representative of our club, and I'd be interested to see what some of maybe the LGBTQ community feel, those fan groups, how they feel about it. I think that would be a really interesting conversation to be had, and I think it's a conversation you have to have. You've got to like lean into these things sometimes and accept it, but also then you've got to accept that, like you were saying, like we are fans of a club that have been sold by Mike Ashley.
We are a pawn in this game.
Yeah, and I think the Saudi Arabian government are deep into lots of areas of our economy, our social, our society. So I think before people start hammering Newcastle, let's look at all the entities of let's look at who else is involved.
Just to jump in. Hi, Matty.
Hello, friends.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
So Matty's been
really well.
You've probably heard Matty behind camera shouting things across the table.
Just literally,
Matty
no one had the crisps. There's head that laughs.
So Matty currently has heartburn. You all right?
Really bad, super bad, but I'm fine.
You all right? How are you feeling, mate? How's today treating you? Not heartburn, just
Today's
Newcastle
been
United.
absolutely amazing, hasn't it? Hasn't it though? Hasn't it just been really good? Like,
apart from the heartburn,
apart from that, it's been fantastic. To be able to stand there in front of Boy Robertson's statue and just see what was going on today, it's something that's going to concrete in my head forever.
Yep, definitely.
And what about getting picked up in the Peugeot 106?
Getting picked up in the Peugeot 106 again is amazing. But my friend over there just said, very important social political issues, and we can't forget about them. But
did you forget his name? Was that what you said, my friend?
Banksy.
Yeah, I'll take Banksy. I'll take that.
Yeah, he paints on walls. But there's one thing that's always going to stay with me is the fact that I was walking down St. James's Boulevard and I heard a noise that I haven't heard on a match day before.
Was it can opening?
It was Peck.
I was a Peck. Shout out to Pete Graves and his Peck. Like, that was brilliant.
But we were walking down there and just hearing that noise, it was so strange to hear that not on a match day. It was so strange to hear that on a day when just something's happened.
A Thursday night. Not under the lights. There's no lights. And everyone's just going crazy. And I'll always remember that. And like I've just said, it just feels like this is the beginning of something maybe very, very, very important for us.
Something special.
Very special. Very special. And it's hard to articulate what it means to us as supporters, as a club. It's so strange because there's been so many people who want to, give their 10 pence worth to X, Y, and Z. But for us, it's a parasite's been cut out of our club. Yeah. It's been cut out of something that we really, really care about. And whether that leads to trophies, who gives a shit? It's more about January comes and we want to do something better. Summer comes, we want to do something better. Training grounds, infrastructure, we want to do something better. And for me,
do you think we'll get rid of the paddling pool with the ice in it?
Nah, I don't, man. That's fun.
I think we should keep it.
Put
it in the Newcastle Museum.
Let's do it as a forfeit.
It should be glassed in.
I think we should
just be part of the tour.
Cover it in gold and make it out in a statue.
Yes.
That's what we should do.
Everybody gets a statue.
Everyone.
The paddling pool gets a statue.
Jack Callback in a wheelie bin.
Statue.
Is he still our...
No, he was one of the wheelie bin dudes, though.
There's lots of people in that wheelie bin, to be fair. We're going to go for another 10 minutes. Okay, so any questions, send them our way. We'll go through as many as we possibly can. There's still a hell of a lot of people watching this right now.
That's the guy who been donating loads of money. Has he got any questions?
Jason, if you're still watching, if you've got any questions.
If you want to FaceTime in as well, I think he's in that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Your questions are going to be the one that we're going to answer, Jason. So if you do have any,
who's going to score the first goal of the?
Ryan Fraser. Jeff Hendrick.
Yeah, that would be a weird bit
Jeff Hendrick.
What was it? Serendipity, wouldn't it?
The Matrix is real.
Well, apparently Callum Wilson's going to be fit for the Spurs game.
Oh god, he's fit all the time.
Yeah,
he's fit all the time. Love him so much.
Imagine it was Dwight Gale.
Oh,
just out of the cold, straight in.
It just doesn't really matter though, does it? Right now, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter because things are going to change a lot in the next 12 months. Yeah. So the players that you see now at this football club, you probably won't see at least half of them this time next year.
It has to happen, right? This is the thing.
Do you think that'll be that extreme though? Do you think it's going to be that extreme?
But that movement of players would be normal at any other club. Like we're talking about as if it's some like we're going to lose. We're going to move players on. But that's what we've been used to.
I think in terms of to progress, honestly, I'm not joking. You need to get 21 players need to go, man. Like, honestly, all of them need to go, man. Like, because they're not good enough. And I know, but the thing is,
all of them? 21 players.
Well, I'd probably only keep one of our keepers. I'd keep Saint, I'd keep Miggy, and I'd keep Wilson.
Which keeper?
And the rest can all go.
Which keeper?
We kind of sell them all in one window, but I'm trying to say those.
Deka, which keeper would you keep?
Probably Dubravka,
okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, if he's fit. But what I'm saying though is like the problem is sometimes when Newcastle fans, right, we're complaining how bad it is and everything's shit and we're terrible, we're 19th in the league, everything's bad. But then when you go, well, I think we should get rid of him. Like, no, he's all right, Tim, he's carrying him. We're going to be loyal.
It's because we know the turnover is going to be so slow, though, isn't it?
Well, loyal.
I still think I appreciate what you said there, but like we can't go
I've just said
20 out.
No, I've just said we'll not do it in one window.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying though is we do need to get rid of all that.
But
we do. You can't keep Kieran Clark and Dummett and no offense to Dummett, but you kind of man.
Do you not think at the end of the current season though, PIF or whoever are going to look at it and say, right, these players have got a year left on the contract. Let's just pay them. If we kind of get rid of them,
I agree,
because we were trying to get shot them, trying to trade them, as Bruce was saying.
Yes,
and with the best will in the world, you kind of force players out without just giving them
like the Mutos of the world.
Just paying up your contract and saying, right, thanks very much, because I don't think we should forget also a large group of that, a large percentage of those players pulled us out the shit in the championship. Your Matt Ritchies, Kieran Clark, Isaac Hinton, all players who will be well respected for
But it's a kind of shake your hand. Thank you very much for the last however.
That's time.
That's the
that's what happened to Man City. That's what happened to Chelsea. this is just an inevitable part of a football team who've been bought, taken over by a huge organization.
Yeah.
And I use that word organization deliberately because, like, at the minute, and what we've had in the past has been completely disorganized.
Yes.
You know, I've had multiple people doing, like one person doing multiple people's jobs. Like now we'll have a managing director, we'll have a social media manager, we'll have this, you know, we'll have an academy manager who just concentrates on that.
That's sole job.
They'll have sole jobs. Whereas at the minute, Lee Charnley, you know,
selling programs,
he's like the tea lady. He's the, you know, selling programs. Like, you know, because we're run on a skeleton staff. Anyone's ever been in St. James's, that's what you see.
Totally right.
And
totally right.
there's just going to be there's got to be an absolute flip in the way that, and like I said before, this is either an opportunity for people or a time for people to go, I'm away.
Yeah.
And if you want to join in the race, sit on and grab on as hard as you can.
So Deka, Flash Mexi has said these players have the potential to be trained into better players.
So you said again?
So these players have potential to be trained into better players with better coaches and management. Do you agree?
Not all of them, no, definitely.
I think some of them have. Yeah,
I definitely think some of them have, yeah. But
As a unit, I think they all do.
listen. All I'm going to say, right? All I'm going to say is we're talking about trying to become a club that is, you know, getting Conte in, for example, right? Conte ain't going to be working with Paul Dummett, like. And I just might think all the rest of it.
Well,
but,
Paul Dummett hasn't really been playing games anyway.
Well, there's just one. If you want to become,
if I put a name out there, so if I go a handful of players that are in that team now, okay, so Jamal Lascelles.
Absolutely no. I'm not saying. Can I please be honest? We are not going to get all these names you're going to say. I'm not saying get rid of the 1st of January. What I'm saying is as the progression, the development comes,
good enough.
No, absolutely not. Well, what I'll say to you is how many players would get into the top 6 team that we have now? And I reckon you're talking 4 or 5. So if that's the case, in the squad, if we want to get into the top 6, you have to get rid of the people that then wouldn't have.
We'll go through some more.
There's no time for.
We'll go through some more. Joe Willock.
Oh, 100%. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Ryan
Sorry,
Fraser.
I didn't say him before. Sorry.
Ryan Fraser.
Yes.
Because of him, definitely not. No, but no chance at all.
Miggy Almiron.
100%. I'd give him a go. Like, I'm not saying he's the answer, but I'll give him a go.
Sorry, mate.
Imagine.
Isaac Hayden.
Yeah.
Time's up. Thanks.
Time's up.
Thanks for your service. But
Is there anyone that stands out for the rest of yours?
What, in terms of a question?
Player that could be better.
oh, could be better. All right.
Sean Longstaff.
I definitely wouldn't get rid of him now. That's for certain. Not for January and stuff. Not even maybe the summer. But again, it does. Listen, we don't know, right? But I'm trying to think of the capital we could be playing with here.
Yeah, you can't be sentimental about it.
Yeah, you can't exactly that word. You cannot be.
So
again, it's time.
That doesn't mean you're
time
not.
scale.
That doesn't mean that you don't appreciate those players.
Yeah,
and but
imagine we still got Matt Ritchie playing left back.
Yeah,
like the season after, and you're like, oh, but he's been great though. He's loyal.
I reckon
So,
18 months time he'll still be there.
We'll end it on this one. Okay, we've been going over well over an hour now. So Jason Hobby, we're going to end it on you, mate, because you're the main man tonight. Jason Hobby says,
the money.
we got a lot of championship players, but if you could pick 5 players to stay, which 5 would it be? So I'll pick
long term. I'll go.
Hang on. So there's 5 weeks here, so we'll pick 1 each.
Okay.
So I'll make the easy choice, right? So I'll make it easier for you, and I'll go Dubravka.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the main man, actually.
No, I'm making it easy for you.
He's counting
No,
5 on this fucking. You got one.
You're picking
You got 5 on
Watch
one.
that shelf that you're leaning on. Oh, lean forward really easy.
Slowly.
Just lean forward a little bit more.
Bull in the
Sit on the
china.
wall.
So you've said Dubravka.
So I said Dubravka.
I'm gonna go Alan Saint Maximin.
The man.
That's easy out. I'm sorry, lads.
Fuck's sake, I'm going last year on it.
Callum Wilson.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Do you not think he's age and injury record?
This is me. No, I, honestly, God, that's why I stuck that, because
this is the thing, though. You've got to
I'm talking 4 or 5 years time. He's going to be 30 odd, like 34.
Wilson. So you can say Miggy if you want.
I'm keeping Miggy.
Miggy. So Mark's gone Miggy.
So thanks for giving me the arse end of this question.
He's going to say Kieran Clark.
There's loads of players. What are you on about?
Oh man, Kieran
So
Clark.
you've got 1
Yeah,
left.
there's
Loads of players.
You've got 1 left. So currently we'll have
So many
Dubravka,
goals.
Saint Maximum, Almiron, and Wilson. You've got 1 left that you're going to keep?
Shifty Gucci.
Well, it's probably going to be.
It's only one,
It's
isn't it?
probably going to be worth it.
Oh, go on. Well, tell us who you
Yeah, but like, do we not go defensive? Do we not want to keep a defender?
Can I stop conceding goals?
Manquillo.
It's getting on now.
But nah, it is probably Joe. We've only
Gotta be Willock, innit?
Joe.
we've already just shot 24 million, so we'll go Joe. Willock.
Not Joe Willock or Joe Linton?
Joe Linton.
It's Joe Willock.
Joe Willock. Okay. Right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Elsbeth Nufc, for donating that last second $17.99.
Can we just say thanks
Thank
to
you.
Laura as well?
Thanks to Maddie's current
DJ
girlfriend.
at the back there.
Come and have a go.
She's currently being producer. It's more than what Adam's done since we've had the studio.
Yeah, he's
Adam's the worst producer we've ever had.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. It's a great
you.
day for Newcastle United fans. It's a great day for the football club
Yeah.
and for the region.
We can dream again.
We can dream. Just live in the moment with us.
Hope.
And the next time we meet round the table, it will be to celebrate Steve Bruce being unemployed.
It will be.
So
We'll
It
see.
will be.
until next time.
He's a local lad.
Have you spit on yourself?
He's a local
Thank you very much, everybody. See you later.
Howie!